Hello, movie people. Welcome to episode of the CineGuy. I'm your host, Steven, and Ghoul. Let's talk film. Well, after so many episodes of pop culture movies, what do you say we take a nice little serious turn and focus on a much more serious topic that needs to be discussed? Immigration. Blue Bayou, a new powerful drama by Justin Chon about a Korean man who finds out he's about to be deported despite being adopted by American parents at the age of 3. Oh yeah, it's a shocking tale about a situation that so many people today are facing. And, it's not even their fault. It's a shocking tale about so many people who are just forced to leave a country they've called their home for so many years and be pushed into a world they don't even know. With the character of Antonio, he's living in the US for nearly 30 years after being adopted by a white couple at the age of 3, and yet that wasn't enough to grant him citizenship? Why? All because they didn't fill out the correct paperwork when they adopted him in 98, and then of course, it wasn't until the year 2000 when adoptees were considered citizens. So it's just messed up. And not just that, Antonio has an American wife and a stepdaughter. And yet that wasn't enough to be oh, he's deemed a citizen, or where's the seniority? They're stripping a man away from his only home, all because of bad paperwork from decades ago that isn't even his fault. But then again, that is the harsh reality that so many dreamers and immigrants today are facing. Now you may think, 30 years, so Antonio must be a contributing member of society. But no. Like so many people, he has a criminal past. Criminal record, childhood of abuse, being surrounded in a society full of people who view him as a threat just because of what he looks like. Yeah, it is shocking how many anti-immigrant tales there are out there simply because of this. Yeah, they figured, they're strangers from a different land, so they must be dangerous, even though they lived for so long and have posed no threat whatsoever. And to top it all off, fear-mongering politicians, bigots, ignorant people. I'm not going to point fingers, but you know who they are. They've painted this disgusting picture that anybody who doesn't look like you is a threat. And honestly, as the son of immigrants, I say this, it is disgusting and despicable, and you should be ashamed of yourself if that's the way you think. They refuse to learn and become more open-minded and would rather be brainwashed by those who are far worse than they are. Alright, that's enough of my rant. But seriously, people, open your mind and your eyes. What's wrong with you? Now, you may think, ICE has to be the main antagonist since they're stripping a guy away from this country. They're always out there threatening people of color. They think everyone who doesn't look like them is illegal, all that stuff. They're the bad guy here. Well, actually, no. As it turns out, one of Antonio's best friends is an ICE agent. The guy who he was giving a back tattoo to. So, no, in a way, ICE is portrayed here as just, regular people doing their job. That's it. They don't have to like it, but it's just, what they sign up for. So who's the real bad guy? Racist piggies, cops. Yep. As it turns out, Antonio's stepdaughter's real father is a police officer who just wants to see his daughter, but he feels like Antonio is part of the issue on why they're not letting him visit her. However, he's not technically the main villain. The real villain is his partner, Officer Denny, I believe his name is. This guy is he's your typical, stereotypical, racist cop, hey, you address me as sir, all that stuff with the mustache and the beard, looking and with the, it's a Cajun accent because this takes place in New Orleans, but my gosh, this dude was despicable. And you can tell he was, he's your typical, corrupt, brutal, bigoted cop. And he's the reason Antonio is in this mess, all because of a grocery store situation where, it's like, hey, boy, you gotta address me as sir. But Antonio tries to walk away, but then he just starts beating him and tackling him. And then finds out, by the way, he's illegal, so yeah, I'm gonna take care of him for you. Like he's doing a favor for the father, even though he's like, I didn't ask you to do that. He's even the reason Antonio missed his trial. The freaking pig kidnapped him and starts beating him in the woods just to make him late. Just go to show you, if you get pulled over by a cop, he's got the brown beard and mustache, pray to God. But even with this asshole, it turns out to be actual good character development for the father. As it turns out, he's the one who arrests Denny after Denny confessed, by the way, I took care of your problem, alright? I beat him up so he missed his trial. No, he didn't ask for that. Well, in all seriousness, the reason the father did not want Antonio to get deported because he knew that, okay, my daughter loves Antonio as her real dad, so he leaves and they leave. So I guess in a way he tried to do it for himself. But his real development was at the end, once Antonio gets deported. He tried to stop Antonio's wife and the daughter from leaving, but then he decides to let them go. Like, you know what? Be happy with Antonio. I'll accept it. And you know what? That's maturity and that's excellent character development on his part. And honestly, that ending was just gut-wrenching. Hearing a little girl crying and screaming for her daddy while a man is just in tears because he's about to lose his family, it just makes you wonder where everybody's heart is, especially in this country today. If your first thought after watching that scene is to simply accept this harsh reality and be like, oh, you know what, they probably deserved it because, you know, they're immigrants, then I say this from the bottom of my heart, with all disrespect, you ignorant, bigoted bastard. In a language you'll never understand because you're too ignorant to learn. Come mierda. Cómelo bastante. Alright, back to the movie. So, a little backstory on Antonio. As it turns out, when he was a baby, his birth mother tried to drown him simply because she couldn't take care of him. My gosh, that's horrifying. But then again, it is a harsh reality. How many moms out there who just cannot, take care of a little thing, and they resort to the most drastic measures? Now, I'm super glad that she decided to give him up for adoption, but then again, look at what's happening today. How many people, young girls, are being forced to become mothers simply because of something out of their control? Why? Oh, because some old man in a suit with power said so. Now, because of that, Antonio has another chance at life, even though he was this close to losing it. The imagery of that little bayou that Antonio loves to hang around for peace and quiet is just beautiful, and it's just shocking to see him try to finish the job when he tries to drown himself. But then during that scene, you see the spirit of his mother just reach out his hand and pull him out because she wasn't willing to kill him. No, son, you don't deserve this. Come on. It's gonna get better, I can assure you that. Also, there's a side character of Parker, the Vietnamese immigrant who is dying of cancer, who befriends Antonio and his family. Her story is one for refugees, where she was forced to be split up by her family in order to come to this country for a better life. And her elderly father says he doesn't regret it because he was able to save his daughter. Now, she served as the more cultural take on this movie when she invited Antonio and his family to a cookout, and they got to eat traditional Chinese food. Now, Antonio has lived his entire life as an American, so it was all like a new experience for him. So imagine that. You're being forced to be pushed into a country you're not even familiar with because of your ethnicity, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I pretty much grew up American. I'm more into hot dogs and hamburgers. What is this stuff in front of me? I don't know this. Just what? You think because I'm Hispanic, I know all Hispanic food? No. But it's what's happening to this day. You've got deportations, separations, migrant camps where children are being abused, immigrants getting harassed just because of what they look like, and thousands of people who are living in fear worry that this might be the last day they get to stay in a place they call their home for such a long time. It's a shocking reality, and I'm glad this movie got made, and I hope it educates you into having a better understanding of what so many people are facing, even though it may not relate to you at all. And if you're still, they deserved it just because they were illegal and they should get their citizenship, as if it comes free in a cereal box, then disrespectfully, one more last time, come mierda. Overall, it's an impactful drama that should really open your eyes to what is going on out there. And if you didn't leave that theater holding back tears and wondering why this situation hasn't been resolved yet, then you definitely need to open your mind a little bit more. So my final rating is going to be 9.1 motorcycles out of 10 ice agents. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this review. If you like it, subscribe and join the crew. I was going to for an awesome review. Be sure to follow the Instagram at CineGuy Steven for reviews. That is at CineGuy Steven. Links below. This is Steven Gould signing off. That's a wrap.